So there's definitely something in the air, isn't there? A real buzz about AI interaction taking a pretty big step forward.
Feels like it, yeah. We're kind of crossing a new line.
And today, we're really going to dive deep into this OpenAI news. ChatGPT, well, it remembers now, long term.
Right. And that's the key thing, isn't it? I mean, just picture it. An AI that actually holds on to your past chats, your goals, what you're interested in.
Right.
It starts building this memory around you. It's a total shift from what we've been used to.
It really is. Because, think about how it worked before. Every single chat, you were basically starting fresh, blank slate.
Yeah, constantly repeating yourself. Here's the project. Here's the tone I want. Remember I asked about this last week. Ooh.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
hitting reset every time. But this feels different. An AI that actually develops an understanding over time, persistently.
Precisely. That's the absolute core of it. ChatGPT now has this long-term memory function, which is, like you said, a world away from the old model, where, context only lived within that one conversation thread.
And as soon as you close that window, poof.
Gone. Like it never happened. You had to rebuild all that context from scratch next time.
Such a pain sometimes. But now, this memory, it actually sticks around, like across different chats.
Yeah, that's the big leap. It persists across multiple separate interactions.
Okay, so that's relevant for pretty much everyone using it then, right?
Yeah.
Students, people writing code, content folks, just anyone curious about AI.
Absolutely. It has really broad implications.
So, okay, how does it actually do that? How does it work under the hood, sort of?
Well, it's pretty interesting. It essentially learns from details that you, the user, share repeatedly, things that come up again and again in your conversations.
Okay, so it's not just like recording every single word. It's looking for patterns.
Exactly. It's identifying recurring information, themes, preferences that you mention often, things that seem important to you.
Right, right. So say, if I keep mentioning I'm studying for the MCAT, or that my design project always use a turquoise color scheme, it starts to pick up on that and remember it.
That's the idea. It builds this kind of personalized knowledge base from those repeated inputs. It learns what's consistently relevant for you.
Okay. And then the payoff is?
The payoff is that this stored info helps it give you, well, better answers later on, more relevant, more tailored responses.
Because it already knows some of the background, your preferences, your context.
Precisely. It has this ongoing understanding, so it can be more helpful, more efficient. You don't have to keep laying the groundwork every single time.
Which saves a lot of hassle.
Right.
But hang on, is this just happening automatically? Or do I have some say in what it remembers?
Good question. And yes, user control is a really big piece of this. There's actually a dedicated memory section right there in the settings.
Okay, memory tab. And what can I do there?
Well, crucially, you can see what specific things ChatGPT has stored about you. It lists out the memories it's formed.
So it's transparent. You can see the list.
Yep. And maybe even more importantly, you can delete specific memories if you don't like them, or if they're outdated, or just if you don't want the AI remembering that particular thing.
Oh, okay, so you can curate it. That feels better, more control.
Yeah, that control is vital.
Yeah.
It's meant to ensure you feel comfortable and, in charge of the process.
Got it. Okay, so we've got this new memory feature and kind of the how learning from repeated info, user control. Let's make it really concrete, though. Like, how would this actually change things day to day for someone? Can we walk through some examples?
Yeah, absolutely. That's where you really see the potential shine. Let's take a student, for example. Maybe they're using ChatGPT for exam prep.
Okay.
So in one chat, they mention, I'm really struggling with the nervous system in biology.
Right. Happens to the best of us.
Totally. Now, maybe a week goes by, they open a new chat and start asking about, say, cellular respiration.
Different topic.
Different topic. Fresh chat. But because ChatGPT remembers that previous struggle with the nervous system, it might proactively say something like, okay, as we discuss cellular respiration, remember how energy transfer relates back to nerve impulse transmission? Maybe focusing on that connection could help solidify both concepts.
Oh, okay. So it's making connections for you based on past difficulties.
Potentially, yeah. Or it might suggest resources that bridge those areas without you even having to ask, hey, remember I was bad at the nervous system? It anticipates the need.
That's actually pretty cool. Take some of the burden off the student to constantly redirect.
Exactly. It's more personalized support.
Okay, what about, say, content creators? Maybe someone running a YouTube channel.
Good one. Imagine you have a channel all about retro video games. You've probably got a specific style, right? Maybe it's very analytical, or maybe it's more fun and personality driven.
Right. You've got your brand, your tone.
Exactly. So with this memory, you could explain that style, your target audience, your channel goals to ChatGPT once or twice.
Mhm.
And then ideally, it remembers that for future script requests, you wouldn't have to start every prompt with, okay, write a script about Sonic the Hedgehog. And remember, my channel is for casual retro fans. Keep the tone light. Focus on nostalgia.
Interesting.
It should have that baseline understanding. So you can just say, draft a script comparing Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, and it applies your established style.
That saves so much time and repetition. It's like having an assistant who's actually learned your preferences.
Pretty much. And think about small businesses, too.
Yeah. How would it help there?
Well, imagine a small online shop maybe selling handmade pottery. They've got a specific brand aesthetic, maybe earthy tones, minimalist design. They talk about the local clay they use, their sustainable practices.
Right. Key brand element.
Key elements, maybe even a slogan. ChatGPT could potentially retain all of that.
Yeah.
So when the owner needs help writing, say, an Instagram post for a new vase, or a description for their website, or even an email to customers.
It draws on that remembered brand info.
Exactly. It helps maintain consistency in the brand voice, the key messages, the values, across all their marketing stuff. No more accidentally writing something that sounds totally off-brand.
That consistency is huge for building a brand, especially a small one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so these examples really show the practical side. But stepping back, what do you see as the bigger picture here, the future implications?
Well, if you zoom out, this feels like more than just a feature update. It feels like a significant move towards AI interactions becoming more like ongoing relationships.
Relationships. It sounds big.
Maybe working relationships is better. It's about continuity, context, moving beyond just one-off questions and answers.
Right. That AI understanding the thread of what you're doing, your projects, your interests over time.
Precisely. We could be looking at AI assistants that genuinely start to learn our individual quirks, our work styles, how we approach problems.
And that leads to
Potentially much deeper personalization. Support that's really tuned into you in a way we haven't really seen before.
So kind of like we touched on earlier, it's almost like aiming for that ideal digital collaborator.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Always there, perfect memory of your history together, constantly learning with you, a sort of productivity buddy with perfect recall.
That's compelling vision.
Mm.
But I imagine some people listening might feel a little uneasy
Yeah.
about an AI remembering all this personal stuff long term.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a totally fair reaction. It's understandable.
Yeah, it immediately brings up the usual very valid questions about privacy, data security. Where is this memory stored? Who sees it?
Right. Those are critical questions. And that's precisely why that emphasis on user control and transparency we talked about is so important.
The memory tab.
The memory tab, the ability to see the memories, the ability to delete them, and crucially, the option to just turn the whole feature off if you're not comfortable.
Okay, so you can opt out completely.
Yes, you have that autonomy. It's not supposed to be remembering things about you without your knowledge or against your will. That user control is key to hopefully addressing some of those legitimate concerns.
Right. Gives the user the final say, which is crucial. Okay, so wrapping this up a bit, thinking about everything we've discussed, I guess the big question for everyone listening is, how do you feel about this? Are you excited by this idea? An AI that learns you, understands you better, becomes potentially way more useful, a truly personalized tool? Or does this AI with long-term memory, just feel a bit unsettling? Maybe a bit too sci-fi, raising deeper questions about where this is all heading, a relationship with tech.
It's definitely a fascinating fork in the road, isn't it? And it really pushes you to think about something beyond just this update.
For you.
Just how fundamentally different will our interactions with technology be when the technology starts to remember us, to learn from us over time? What does that do to the relationship?